It is Monday, 13th November already. Good morning. This is Mervyn Hanley with THG News Today. I trust that you had yourselves a wonderful weekend. I certainly did. THG News Today is sponsored by Carl & Sons on St. Martin. Let us hear from our proud sponsor. Carl & Sons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years. And the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Carl & Sons for simply the best. There are two locations, Coal Bay and on the Pondville. In Coal Bay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Pondville, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Carl & Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Coal Bay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Carl & Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you. Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, is poised to play a pivotal role in the inaugural CARICOM-Saudi Arabia Summit, a momentous occasion scheduled for November 16th. Prime Minister Drew will join fellow leaders from the CARICOM to engage in substantive discussions with Saudi Arabian counterparts. This landmark summit arises from the keen interest of the government of Saudi Arabia in cultivating enhanced relationships with nations across the Caribbean, Central and South America. The primary focus is on fostering investment in trade, particularly in key sectors such as infrastructure, hospitality, energy, climate change, and environmental sustainability. Beyond the trade and investment, the summit aims to reinforce shared principles, facilitate increased people-to-people contact, and celebrate cultural heritage. It marks a significant step towards deepening ties between CARICOM nations and Saudi Arabia. Prime Minister Drew will lead a distinguished delegation, including the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas, Minister of Foreign Affairs, among other key officials. Notable members of the delegation include the Permanent Secretary in the Premier's Office of the Nevis Island Administration, the Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's Office, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that's Ms. Kay Bass, His Excellency Larry Vaughan, Ambassador to the CARICOM for St. Kitts and Nevis, and Mrs. Adelcia Connor Furlance, Press Secretary to the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. The significance of the summit was underscored by the recent courtesy visit of His Excellency Abdullah bin Mohammed Al Sahani, the first accredited ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to St. Kitts and Nevis. During the visit, Ambassador Al Sahani held constructive meetings with Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Terence Drew and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas. Discussions delved into the importance of robust diplomatic relations and collaboration in addressing global challenges and opportunities. Key areas of cooperation were explored, including climate change, renewable energy, investment, and cultural exchanges. The groundwork laid during these preliminary discussions sets the stage for future strengthened partnerships with the potential to reshape national and regional dynamics and promote shared prosperity. Now, this is not to alarm anyone, but just to give you the information as it comes in. There is a medium chance of a tropical depression forming over the western or central Caribbean Sea later this week. Looking ahead, a broad area of low pressure is forecast to form in the southwestern Caribbean Sea around the middle of next week. Thereafter, environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development, and a tropical depression could form later this week as the system drifts northeastward in the Caribbean Sea. Currently, the system has a medium chance of a tropical cyclone formation in about 7 days. Of course, we will continue to follow any weather alerts or updates on this possible system. And finally, the news out of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Kyle Christopher has been sentenced to 24 years in prison after pleading guilty to one count of aggravated child abuse and neglect, stemming from the death of 4-year-old Aaron Benjamin. The young boy was found dead in his mother's Lorraine Village housing community apartment on October 18, 2019, his small body bearing fresh and old bruises and bite marks. At the time, the boy's sister told police that Christopher habitually beat both children with a black stick, and Christopher admitted to beating the boy, causing him to fall and hit his head against a chair. Charged with Aaron Benjamin's murder, Christopher struck a plea agreement just days before his trial was set to begin, in which he pleaded guilty to aggravated child abuse and neglect in exchange for prosecutors agreeing to dismiss 5 other counts against him, which in addition to murder, including charges of aggravated assault and battery and third-degree assault. Under the terms of the deal, Christopher faced up to 30 years in prison for his crime against the 4-year-old child. Sentencing in the matter follows the submission of a new plea agreement after a similar one was accepted by the Virgin Islands Department of Justice in 2020. However, that agreement was not filed with the court until 2022, by which time it had already been withdrawn by the then Assistant Attorney General and as such was deemed invalid by the court. Aaron Benjamin's mother, Delicia Daniels, is currently serving an 18-year sentence following her plea agreement in which she admitted to one count of child abuse. An audit by the Department of Human Services was sparked by the discovery that the father of Aaron and his sister had been pleading with the agency to investigate the children's suspected abuse, but to no avail. The DHS commissioner at the time, Kimberly Causey Gomez, said in 2020 that personal changes and disciplinary action came as a result of the audit. However, the results of the probe have never been released to the public. Imagine that. One count of child abuse can give you up to 18 years in prison. That is our news this morning. Sponsored by Carl & Sons on St. Martin. And do join us again tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock for a similar presentation. I am Mervyn Henley, and I am wishing you a blessed day.